Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to the second meeting in May 2024. We're moving forward with midwifery in North America in the post-MANA era, which we find ourselves in. Last week, we spent some time just getting to know each other in a small group with those who showed up and talking about how we can press forward into our common love for midwifery and mamas and papas and babies in our communities. Instead of focusing on ourselves, focus on the ones that we're here to serve. So that last week, our theme was purpose. What is our purpose? This week, our theme is strategy, thinking about how we can pull together all of the diverse groups and individuals that we are in the midwifery community and work together in an effective way, whether that turns out to be a formal organization at the national level, regional, local, informal networks on social media, in person, building birth directories, working together underground, above ground, basically doing all of the things that all of our foremothers have already figured out. They've already laid down those paths for us. And it's up to us now to figure out which ones are going to be the best for us to follow and tread in this time with our challenges moving into the 21st century and whatever's going on in our communities locally. So with that in mind, and by the way, hi, I'm Sharon Barrett. I am a future midwife. Right now, I'm a social scientist studying midwifery, so bringing those research skills and the ability to ask questions and get people inspired to answer and think deeper and dig deeper into their own thoughts and experiences. So with all that in mind, today, we have been, before the camera started rolling, we've been chatting about whether a national organization for midwifery, adding another organization to the roster that already exists, is even necessary. We have some midwives who say, no, we don't need it. It's just going to clog up the works once again. And others have other perspectives to share. So Sarita, you were about to say something when we started the recording. Please go ahead.
Right. Which really is more about strategy. I have a variety of questions about what's needed in terms of organizations. All the credentials are already represented, is what it seems like to me. And so we really need to think about in that event what isn't represented. And at this point, what isn't represented is birth autonomy, regardless of who it is that's pushing that movement, whether that be traditional midwives, credentialed midwives, citizens, whoever it may be. The strategy of pushing for everyone to have birth autonomy, be it in the hospital, at home, in a birth center, I don't care where you are, really seems like it would be that rising tide that would lift all boats. In terms of strategy, I want to flash back to about 30 years ago when a young student who now actually directs clinics, she became a physician and directs clinics, came and spent the summer with me from Stanford University. And she was working on her project. I don't know if it was a thesis or exactly what the title was, around, and which was entered into Stanford University's Golden Humanities Award or program, and it won an award that year. And it was really the first 3 chapters of a book, and it was about midwifery in Appalachia. Something she said to me, and she was very insightful because, she just paid attention to all of us and went to meetings and went to births and, with different people, and studied what might be termed the modern midwifery movement, although in Appalachia the chain wasn't broken for as long. And what she said was that modern midwifery movement was reactive to obstetrics. And at first I took it as a bit of a insult, right? Because, I wanted to say no, but everything we're doing is what we're supposed to be doing, though, what midwives do. But as I've gone through the years, I've come to understand that she was absolutely correct. And so I think any strategy moving forward has to come from a perspective that isn't reactive to obstetrics, but is true to birth autonomy and true to, the community and the citizens who are, who really at this point don't have autonomy even within their own homes. Did we lose Sharon? I don't see her.
I think we lost her. Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Right.
that is so spot on. It's reactive. It is
So,
not
everything's
proactive.
reactive. Right.
Yeah.
And any
And
strategy moving forward needs to be proactive rather than constantly putting out fires and constantly reacting, to keep the system happy. Right.
yes,
Oh,
yes.
she's
Sharon's back. Yes.
back.
And I mean, that's a valid criticism of second wave feminism, is that it was about poor affluent white women getting them what men had. And so
Right.
you end up with Cheryl Sanders, I think her name is, leaning in like
Right.
that's even something that most of American women have a choice in. They don't.
Right. Right. A friend of mine just attended a big fancy celebration awards where a lot of movers and shakers are. And she was telling me about some of her experiences there. And one of the experiences, well, they were all around these movers and shakers leading this
Sarita,
paradigm of, yeah, yes. There you are.
I'm so sorry. I don't
Oh,
know.
wait.
It does say that it's still recording. Okay,
Yep.
well then keep talking wherever you
Okay.
were. Keep
Well,
talking.
You were talking shakers and movers,
And we'll
Sarita.
figure it out.
right, right. At a
So
meeting,
where were you?
at an award. I wasn't there. This is a story that was just shared with me. It was a friend of mine who was at a meeting, at a ceremony that was attended by a lot of shakers and movers. I'll just leave it at that. And she was surprised to see the direction that a lot of those shakers and movers were going, including the research being around things like how to reduce opioids postpartum rather than how to decrease C-section rates. Or the one I liked, I thought was the most shocking, was the development of something that would block menopause, not for any other reason other than, and this is that second wave feminism, that's what made me think of it. If men are fertile and hormone producing for their entire lives, it's only fair if women do the same. And I, really kind of began to look at how equity can take us in directions that maybe not everybody wants to go, right? So she was just shocked by this thought that the solution to feminism and equity was to remain fertile for your entire life rather than to accept and optimize our natural processes. And that really reflects what we see in midwifery and childbirth, in an extreme way. Sharon just, I know I can't see her anymore. And I don't know if she had an agenda or particular things she wanted to talk about, other than strategy this time. And my really only contribution is it can't be reactive to obstetrics. It has to stand in its own power. It has to be about birth autonomy so that it's not really just about any one group of people. And I think it has to be done in a way that we're willing to look at system breakdowns and work together rather than what I've just been witnessing today on social media of, a midwife attending a birth and without a whole story being able to be heard, even though the story that's heard is somewhat concerning, sort of that dog pack mentality of everybody jumps on thinking they know what needs to happen next without having the benefit of the entire picture. And I think we have to look at how quickly midwives will throw each other under the bus with the illusion to save themselves and how dangerous that is. What I've been seeing is, and to talk about strategy, what I've been seeing really is the terror with the realization that a credential is an external validation that no matter what may not be seen in a positive light, and a license won't protect you from anything. And when you realize those things, you realize that your attempts to try to integrate into a system that doesn't want you to be there will never be what you want them to be until you just assimilate into being their employee or the same model of care and the same train of thought. And I think that's part of what we're seeing in the outrage and the lock her up kind of mentality that I've seen expressed on social media. And that's all I've got to say about that. Sorry, I have to move around.
And restart. That way, at least it'll be saved in chunks on this device, okay?
Yep.